Welcome to Mana's Seal YouTube channel. The previous video link is on the description box or on the top right card. Volume 12. The Paladin of the Holy Kingdom. Soon, Remedios reached her destination, which was a corner of the city. The streets spread out before them. The evacuation had been completed long ago, and so there was nobody there. Captain, if we follow this avenue and turn right, then turn right again, we'll be at the plaza where we'll be awaiting Jaldabaoth. Do you want us to scout ahead? No, wait for Kalka-sama and my sister, and the adventurers. After that, make your final checks and then, hoist the banner high. Obeying Remedios' orders, her subordinates tied a flag to a distant building. This was to inform the other units that the elite paladins led by Remedios had arrived. Their operation would involve Kalka and her personal guard, Queralt and the pick of the temple's high-ranking adventurers, and a squad of Remedios' elite paladins. The four units had split up and then headed to Jaldabaoth's location. There were roughly 500 paladins in the order. Most of them were comparable to difficulty 20 monsters, and among them were great warriors capable of slaying a difficulty 60 monster one-on-one. In all, there were 25 of these ultra-elite warriors, who formed the core of Remedios' forces. Incidentally, the remaining 300-odd paladins were currently standing watch on the city walls, against the advancing demihumans. Originally, they should have formed up into a single group and moved out as one. However, Jaldabaoth possessed an area attack ability that could bring down the wall, so they had chosen to split up in order to avoid being destroyed when their forces were concentrated. The reason why they had hung the flag in the distance was so that even if Jaldabaoth saw the flag and attacked it, it would not hamper the rest of the group. Can Jaldabaoth's wall-breaking attack be used more than once, Isandro? There were two vice-captains in the Paladin order. One of them was an average swordsman, but excelled in other areas, and his name was Gustavo Montanges. Right now, he was directing the paladins who were reinforcing the city walls, so he was not here. There was another, who currently stood by Remedios' side. The person to whom Remedios addressed her question was one of the 9 colors as well, Isandro Sanchez, called the Pink. If he could use it multiple times, then I have no idea why he has not done so already. It might make more sense to consider that there might be some condition or some kind of delay until he can use it again. Pretty much. I guess splitting up was being too paranoid. No, it's nothing of the sort. Perhaps he's conserving his strength in order to bring forth some great power. We mustn't be careless. Yes, I know. Remedios broke off their conversation. She was not suited to thinking, after all. Politics in particular made her headache. She was completely baffled by the reason why the nobles frowned upon the fact that a woman had ascended to the throne of the Holy Queen. They felt the same about Kalka's title, which was the combination of Holy King and woman. They protested, both the fact that they had a woman leading them, and that a new term had to be coined for her. On that note, it would be simpler to understand if it was just a matter of who was stronger or weaker. Captain Custodio, the priest contingent and the adventurers have raised their flags. How about Kalka-sama? Not yet. Is that so? Well, it's about time to start casting longer duration defensive spells. Once Kalka-sama arrives, we'll advance on Jaldabaoth first and act as bait to draw his attention. Keep your will strong and beware any special attacks the enemy has. No movement from the plaza. They had confirmed that the advance force had been wiped out, and if their target had shifted location, the adventurers responsible for reconnaissance would have told them. If there was no news from them, that meant Jaldabaoth had not moved from the plaza where he had appeared. He's looking down on us, that miserable little demon. Probably thinks that if he can kill us all here, he can conquer the country easily. No, Captain. It's also likely that he's trying to stall for time. If we're pinned down here fighting Jaldabaoth, the Demihuman army will be able to win elsewhere. I see. So that's possible too. This Jaldabaoth is pretty smart, huh? I think he's good at scheming because he's a demon. He's just a demon who's gotten full of himself. I'll beat him like a dog and make him weep bitterly. Just as Remedios swore that to the gods, the final flag went up, as though it were waiting for that moment. Vice Captain. Yes, ma'am. Everyone, we're moving out. All right. Follow me. Remedios began to run, determined to bury her sword in that demon's face. She turned a corner, ran again, then turned a corner once more. And so, she saw a suspicious-looking person, standing in the middle of a plaza painted bright red and strewn with the bodies of the fallen. A tail protruded from that person's waist. His description was almost identical to the one provided by the fleeing soldiers. He did not have bat-like wings or curled horns, and the only sign that he was inhuman was his tail. From that point of view, he was little more than a man in a mask. However, are you Jaldabaoth? Red Circa, whoa. An acrid stench filled the air as they entered the plaza, that of blood and burst innards. There was a sound of squelching meat as she stepped in, but she was no longer concerned about such things. All that remained was charging with all her might and swinging her sword. Her irritation built as Jaldabaoth effortlessly avoided her, and she swung again. That too was evaded. Remedios knew that however much time she put into her studies, she would never be able to excel in academics. For that reason, she spent all her time on improving her fighting skills instead, because she understood that she was more talented in that field. Thus, she had become known as the greatest warrior of this nation. And now, the instincts of the Paladin Remedios Custodio were screaming to her. Jaldabaoth's evasion was not a coincidence. He put on a show of conceit because he had the strength to back it up. Few human beings could keep up with the battle that was about to take place, and she would need to further enhance herself with magic. Remedios' instincts had never failed her at times like these. Fall back. All of you fall back. No, form according. This demon's strong. Saying so, she backed away with her men. Her subordinates retreated further than her, but she could not go too far away. At most, she could move 4 meters back, at a range where she could take a single step, and then cut him down. Jaldabaoth rounded his shoulders. Ha, what a bullish girl you are. What is it? Could it be you've seen something red? Remedios ignored the demon's playful words, and the troops led by Queralt and Calca appeared in her field. A vision. Shocked by the sight of Remedios engaged with Jaldabaoth, they made haste. Jaldabaoth turned to face Calca, exposing his defenseless back to Remedios. However, her instincts told her that Jaldabaoth might just be waiting for her to attack him from behind, and so she froze. You too. He's very strong. If you don't pull your men back, they'll only die for nothing. The two of them immediately responded to Remedios' shout, and they were the only ones to step forward. Remedios kept her distance from Jaldabaoth while circling around him until she stood in front of the two of them. Remedios, please don't push yourself. She's right, Nisama. Shouldn't you take him on with everyone at once? Her eyes had not moved from Jaldabaoth, even as she listened to their quiet words from behind her. Perhaps, he was planning to unleash that wall-breaking power of his. If he made a move, she would dash up and hack him down. However, Jaldabaoth showed no sign of doing so. His relaxed attitude made Remedios unhappy. I have to strike him down. So you are Jaldabaoth. Jaldabaoth's shrug in response to Calca's question only intensified her displeasure. Every little thing that demon did only served to make her mad. Indeed. Your slave charged right at me without saying a word. What would she have done if it was a case of mistaken identity? Well, it does interest me that there are savages in the Holy Kingdom who are incapable of speech. Just to be sure, may I ask if you are the reigning Holy King? Indeed. There's no need to tell him your name, Calca-sama. Remedios leveled the point of her sword at Jaldabaoth. All you need to know is that he's Jaldabaoth, and all we need to do after that is kill him and send him back to hell. Talking with him is just going to taint your tongue. Remedios. We're talking. Calca's puzzled words made Remedios tilt her head. Had she said something about this earlier? Quirrell seemed to have a spell from the rear, because a surge of heat blazed up within her body, accompanied by incredible strength. Her attack from just now had been evaded, but now she was confident that she could strike him in this state. At this point, Remedios thought, so that's it, because talking to him was meant to buy them time. Still, I am magnanimous, so I shall chat with you for a while. Do you have any questions? Jaldabaoth pressed at the eye region of his mask, a motion Remedios had seen Calca, Queralt, and her vice-captains perform many times in the past. Also, please, prepare yourselves until you are satisfied. The sight of you, who are desperately preparing yourselves to defeat me, being trampled and your lives taken by a power which surpasses even that, truly, it is a sight to evoke ever greater despair in those who witness it with their own eyes. What a wonderful sight it will be. I won't let that happen. Sorry, Remedios, but could you quiet down for a bit? There was a hint of steel in Calca's voice, and Remedios shut up. It was merely a slight change of tone, but, from experience, Remedios knew that Calca was angry. Remedios, step back for a bit. But if I move back, I won't be able to cut him down if he does anything weird. That is fine. I will not attack until we finish speaking, or until you launch an attack of your own. As if we could believe what a demon say. Remedios. Understood. Remedios fell back as ordered, and her sister whispered to her through her helmet. Calca-sama is trying to learn more from the opposition. You need to ignore what that demon says and bear with it. Mew, Remedios grimaced, her face seemingly saying, I'm not happy with this. Their opponent was a demon. That being the case, they ought to consider that everything he said was probably a lie. Rushing in and cutting him up would save effort and brain cells. However, impeding her mistress was a betrayal of her loyalty. Thus, she had gritted teeth and endured this. Now then, Demon Emperor Jaldabaoth. I have some things to ask you. Why have you come here? If you wish to trample this country, why not move with the Demihuman army from the fortress? Or could it be? Ah, you need say no more. I can imagine what you wish to say. It would seem you are mistaken. The reason I have come here alone is not to parley with you. The quiet I see came from Kalka, who was standing behind Remedios. She sounded clearly disappointed. There are two reasons why I have come here alone. The first is because crushing you by myself will deepen your despair that much more compared to if you were slain in a chaotic battle with the Demihuman forces. The other reason is, in order to avoid making the same mistakes as from the kingdom, I had not expected to meet a warrior there who was as powerful as myself. Therefore, the fact that I have come here alone is to see if there is a being comparable to me. There might be, you know. Of this I am certain, there are none. That is why I have given you all this time. If anyone like that did exist, they would be in this city, by the side of you, the most important person in this nation. Yet, I have not found anyone like that. That includes those sniveling rats hiding themselves away. You bastard. Are you saying we're weaker than that warrior? Remedios could not pretend she had not heard those words, and they made her forget her forbearance and shout in anger. Kalka and her sister's words were already halfway out of her head, but the order not to cut him down just barely held on. That is exactly what I am saying. Did you not hear me? Is that all you wish to know, Holy Queen Sama? Well, there's one more thing, angels, advance. Kalka's powerful voice filled the plaza, and the angels in the perimeter and hidden among the priests spread their wings and took flight.